could now have the 4 officers receiving awards today join us up front, please. So, as the director stated, the officers are out in the field protecting the natural resources and the citizens and visitors to the state of Michigan throughout the entire year. They do an excellent job for us, and they have saved numerous lives over the years. Today, I'm here to tell you about 4 such stories that happened in recent time, in the last 6 months or so. So I will begin with Conservation Officer Cardenas and tell you the story that resulted in a life-saving event for a citizen of the state of Michigan. Last October, CO Cardenas responded to a call related to a suicidal subject who had contacted his mother saying he planned to drive to the MacArthur Bridge near Belle Isle and end his life by jumping into the river. Upon CO Cardenas' arrival on the MacArthur Bridge, he noticed a vehicle driving northbound that matched the description of the subject's vehicle as given by dispatch. CO Cardenas observed the vehicle leave Belle Isle, turn around, drive halfway back across the bridge, and stop on the shoulder of the bridge near the center of the river. As Officer Cardenas approached the location, the man exited the vehicle, climbed over the railing, and stood facing the river. After a brief pause, the man jumped off the bridge and plunged into the Detroit River 30 feet below. After informing dispatch of the situation, CO Cardenas exited his patrol vehicle, vaulted over the first railing, seeing the man in the river below, struggling to keep his head above the water and crying for help now. CO Cardenas encouraged him to kick his legs to stay afloat for just a little bit longer, recognizing the man was not being very successful in the dangerous situation he had placed himself in. Officer Cardenas quickly retrieved a rescue disc throw rope from his patrol vehicle and returned to the edge of the bridge. He made a near-perfect toss and instructed the man to grab the line of the rescue disc. The man grabbed it but was immediately pulled under the water. CO Cardenas pulled hard on the line to bring the man back above to the surface of the water. Officer Cardenas then had the forethought and encouraged the man to spin in the water so the line would wrap around his chest. This maneuver resulted in the man being held in a safe and secure manner, and it kept his head above the water. For the next 10 minutes, CO Cardenas held the victim in a position whereby he could safely breathe until a Detroit Police Department harbor master vessel could get to the location. All of this time, he was urging the victim, encouraging him, you gotta fight for your life. The victim ultimately was transported to the hospital and released. Please join me in congratulating CO Richard Cardenas on his immediate and decisive action that resulted in his successful effort in saving this man's life. CO Cardenas, congratulations on a job well done. Next, I'll let you finish your handshake. We'll talk about the actions of Officer Kovach from St. Clair County. Last October, CO Kovach responded to a dispatch call for help and was the first on scene of a reported self-inflicted accidental gunshot wound at a residence in Wales Township. The victim was doing laundry in his home when his pistol fell out of a leg holster, struck the floor, and discharged, striking his bicep and continuing through his arm and out the other side. Upon CO Kovach's arrival, the victim had made his way outside of the house and was lying in the grass, bleeding profusely. There was a large pool of blood, and the man was in very poor condition and getting worse. Within 4 minutes of arrival, CO Kovach successfully applied a combat application tourniquet to the wound, stopping the bleeding. When emergency personnel arrived, a few minutes later, the ambulance was there. His condition was improving, and he was stabilizing. He was taken to a local hospital where he was treated for his injuries and is expected to make a full recovery. Please join me in congratulating CO Kovach on his successful effort in saving this man's life. Officer Kovach, congratulations on a job well done. Next, I'd like to tell you about Conservation Officer Tyson Branch, or Isaac Tyson of Branch County. Let's get that right. While conducting a joint marine patrol with a Branch County Marine deputy last July, CO Tyson and the deputy received information about a subject who had reportedly been found unconscious lying face down in the water. As the two officers approached the subject to render medical attention, the subject was found sitting in a boat and appeared to be okay. After observing him for about 5 minutes and watching him walk around the boat with no issues, CO Tyson and the deputy continued their patrol efforts. About an hour later, CO Tyson and the deputy heard screams coming from the same side of the lake. As they approached, they observed a crowd of people standing over the very same subject, screaming that he was unconscious. CO Tyson boarded the pontoon that was between his patrol boat and the subject's vessel, and then made his way and entered onto the boat where the subject was lying on the floor. The victim was breathing but had a very weak pulse. CO Tyson attempted to wake him up but got no response. With the help of the deputy and multiple bystanders, the subject was carried to the front of CO Tyson's patrol boat. During the drive to shore, the victim stopped breathing. At this time, CO Tyson began CPR. After the subject was lifted onto the dock, CO Tyson checked the subject's airway for obstructions and found that his tongue was pushed to the roof of his mouth. Once the airway was cleared, the victim started breathing again and regained a pulse. CO Tyson monitored the subject for about 10 minutes until the ambulance arrived and transported him to the hospital. When CO Tyson called to check the gentleman's status in the evening, he was reported to be in stable condition. Please join me in congratulating CO Isaac Tyson on his successful effort in saving this man's life. CO Tyson, congratulations on a job well done. Next, I'll tell you a story about Conservation Officer Greg Patton of Muskegon. Last winter, CO Patton responded to an emergency dispatch call to a subject who had fallen through the ice on Black Lake. CO Patton arrived on shore and began looking for the victim. A Norton PD officer searched the area on the opposite side of the lake as well. Not seeing anyone, CO Patton proceeded on foot to a dock where he spotted the victim up to his chest through the ice near the southeast corner of the lake. CO Patton advised dispatch and the Norton PD officer of the victim's location, then got into his truck and met the other emergency personnel near that man's location. While the other emergency personnel were getting their ice rescue gear coordinated, CO Patton put on his snowmobile flotation coat and proceeded out onto the ice, taking some rescue gear with him. CO Patton was able to make his way to the victim and throw the rescue disc and line to the victim. He then instructed the man to put the rope around his body. The man was too weak to kick his legs to get out of the water. CO Patton maintained tension on the throw line, keeping the subject's head above the water until additional emergency personnel could arrive to help pull the victim from the lake. The gentleman was transported to the hospital by ambulance and has since recovered. Please join me in congratulating CO Greg Patton on his successful effort in saving this man's life. CO Patton, congratulations on a job well done. Sure.
Yeah, sure. Why don't we take one group photo?
Okay. Yes, kind of squeeze in here.